Hey, hello everyone. Today we're going to talk about a very important topic that is characteristics of the living organism. Yes, this is very important. ये सब चीजें हम पढ़ेंगे कि characteristic of living organisms क्या है. So let's start with a great enthusiasm and learn with a fantastic way with me. So when you talk about the living organism, okay, living organism, definitely we have some terms related to this. Okay, so how can you say that this is living, this is non-living? So we have some characteristics and वही हम लोग पढ़ने जाएंगे. Okay, so let's start with me. Okay, so first point is over is a growth. So you can see here the first point we have to discuss is the growth. So what is growth exactly? Plant बड़े हो जाते हैं, right? Plant is become if from the seedling there is a plumule and the radical is there, then the growth of the plant will be there. So what is growth exactly? Increase in size that we can see, right? In biological way, growth is a characteristics of all living organisms. Increase in the biomass, increase in what biomass, and increase in the size of individual are twin characters of the growth. So growth we can talk about. So when you talk about the growth, so what is exactly growth according to you? Increase in size. Okay. So increase in size is called the growth. So growth, when I'm talking about, there are two characteristics. First, A, increase in biomass. That is more and more important. Increase in biomass should be there. Okay, the second characteristic of the growth is what? See, if the biomass increasing means cell is increasing, definitely cell are under the growth, right? And increase in the size of individual. If the biomass increasing, then the size of individual is also increasing. So biomass increase, increment in the biomass, increment in the size of the individual is termed as a growth characteristics. So a multicellular organisms grows by the cell division. So cell division is process from one cell, two daughter cells are forming. From one cell, sometime multiple fusion is going to occur. We will study that later on. But right now, we understood that cell growth is nothing but a cell division over here. If the cell division is there, then only cell growth will be there. In plants, growth occurs by the cell division continuously throughout their lifespan. So can I say that plants are growing towards their lifespan? मतलब वो जीते हैं कैसे जीते कंटिन्यूअसली ग्रोथ होती रहती है उनकी ग्रोथ कभी रुकती नहीं इन केस ऑफ एनिमल लाइक अस वी आर ग्रोइंग we have a age lifespan age, right? But in case of plant they are not like the same. Why? Meristematic tissue, the meristematic tissue is continuously growing. Yes or no? Continuously they undergo the multiplication. That's why plant throughout the lifespan it's continuously growing. So growth in the plant is continuous, growth in the animals is we have a same lifespan over there. Okay, so this is the first characteristic we talk about, that is the growth. Let's move to the next one, that is reproduction. Okay, so in case of reproduction, what is written over there? It is a basic characteristic feature of a living organism. It's a basic one. Why it's called a basic one? Okay, now we are moving to the second characteristic, that is reproduction. Yes, after growth, after maturity, the organism or the cell undergo the reproduction to make a new cell. So the one cell which is grown, which is mature, now called as a parent cell. Okay, suppose this is a amoeba structure. Now it this attains its maturity. Now it's going to give a birth to the two daughter cells. Okay, undergo the binary fission or some other fissions. Okay, so we talk about the reproduction. So moment I talk about the reproduction is the basic characteristic feature of living organism. Reproduction means the production of offspring possessing feature more or less similar that of the parent. So in this case, in the same case, amoeba is giving rise to the two daughter cell. So definitely characteristic is resemble to the parent cell. Now there is no parent cell once they are formed. Okay, that's the fission. Binary fission is there. In case of animal, we talk about if they give rise to the birth. For example, dog give rise to the puppies. Okay, so puppies are not exactly same, but yes, some characteristics are similar to that. Are you agree with this? Exactly. So reproduction is there. Now the third one is a consciousness. What do you mean by consciousness? The moment I talk about the consciousness is meaning being here. Okay, so it's the ability of living beings to sense their surrounding, whatever the environment is there. So it's the ability of living beings to meet their sense their surrounding or a environmental and respond to this environmental stimuli. What is the stimuli? Suppose mosquito is biting, मच्छर काट रही है मुझे, मैं क्या करूंगा? हाथ निकाल दूंगा वहां पे। तो मेरा स्टिमुलस आ गया, मतलब क्या, मेरा रिस्पॉन्स आ गया, a quick response to the environment. It's called a stimuli, right? So what is consciousness? Is the characteristics. It is the ability of living beings to sense their surrounding or environmental and to in respond to this environmental stimuli, right? Which could be physical, chemical, or biological. So when you talk about the consciousness, it can be physical, can be chemical, and can be biological. Okay, so in the case of physical, you just moving your hands, for example. In case of chemical, touch me not plant, mimosa plant. When you touch it, what is going to happen? The leaflet is going to close. So there is a physical movement. There is a chemical movement. The chemical is responsible for the closing of that. And biological movement, we're going to study later on. It's little complicated, so we'll study later on. So right now, what is consciousness? You have understood, right? Now let's move to the cellular organization. What is organization, first of all? Yes, anybody? Okay, so organization means what? Organizing the things. So when you talk about the cellular organization, it is the definite feature of living form. A cell are a basic building block. A cell is called a structural and functional unit of life. So it's a fundamental life. So cellular organization is a basic thing over there. Cell undergo the growth. If the cell is there, then it will be the next one is growth, right? So cell has to be there. So that is a basic characteristic. Now biological organization. When you talk about the biological organization means what? It starts with a submicroscopic molecular level where the types of molecule like carbohydrate, protein, lipids, nucleic acid are the organized into the cell. Now, let's talk about it. Cell is a living one, right? Cell is a what? Living one, definitely. But to form a cell, you need a carbohydrates, proteins for protein synthesis, fats to form the bilayer or some cell wall or some membranes. You need a nucleic acid to form a nucleus. So can I say that these are the non-living things like carbohydrate, fats, but from that we are getting the living thing that is a cell and which is a structure and functionality of life. Are you agree with this? Exactly correct. So biological organization come into this picture. This cell are organized into tissue. So when cell are there, cell combine, one cell is performing a specific task, they are called a tissues. Is this clear? Exactly correct. Okay. So tissue in turns organized into the organ. One tissue come together, they form the organ, and organs are organized into the organ system. And with the organ system, we get a whole body. That is the point. This is point is clear. Okay, next one. The organism is made up of the organ system. It lives in a population which form the communities which are part of the ecosystem and ecosystem part of the biosphere. So biosphere is a big thing. From biosphere we coming to, for example, आप गूगल पे कोई एड्रेस डालते हो तो इट्स लाइक दूर से नीचे आ रहे हो, राइट? मतलब क्या हो रहा है, अगर मैंने डाला महाराष्ट्र तो इंडिया में महाराष्ट्र है, महाराष्ट्र से अंदर जाऊंगा मुंबई, मुंबई से अंदर जाएगा मेरा और दो तीन चीजें, राइट? सिटी कौन सी, एंड ऑल थिंग्स आर देयर, राइट? सो बिग वन इज अ बायोस्फीयर. देन अगर उसमें क्या है, communities there, various communities are there, okay, and from that communities there is a population, and from the population when we उल्टा आ रहे हैं ना हम लोग, तो at the end क्या मिलेगा हमें? सेल ही मिलेगा. Getting my point? So it is a biological thing. In chemistry we talk about the atoms, but in biology we'll talk a cell is a structural functional fundamental of life. So this point is very clear to you. Yes, that's great. Let's see if further is there something or not. If we miss any other point, yes. So respiration. Other point we talk about the respiration. So what is a respiration exactly? It is a process. Respiration, yeah, it's a part. Breathing is a part of respiration, but the whole process is not. Respiration is a process where organisms take up the oxygen and that oxygen is utilized for generation of ATP. What is ATP? Adenosine triphosphate. Nothing but the energy currency we are getting. So it is a process of generation of energy. So next characteristic is respiration. It's a respiration. And the respiration is directly related to energy synthesis. Okay, energy synthesis. So, breaking of the CC bond, that is carbon-carbon bonds of a complex compound through the oxidation leading to the release of energy, which is stored in the ATP. So, what is this? With the carbohydrate, for example. From the carbohydrate, a starch is there. From the starch, we get a glucose. From the glucose, we cleaving the bonds of the CC bond. And the moment we cut it, we get energy over there. So ultimately complex food को क्या बनाना है, simpler food में बनाना है, we getting the energy over there. All the cells require energy and it's very kind of organism. Okay, every kind of organism needs the energy. Definitely, ATP is used as a source of energy. ATP is called a universal energy carrier. ATP is called universal energy carrier. Please make sure you understand this point. The next one is evolution. Yes, evolution is has to be there. What is evolution? The adaptations and evolutions are little different. So let's talk about evolution. Refers to the changes occurs from the time to time. In fact, biology is a study of evolution of living organisms on the earth. We know that human beings are formed with a Homo sapien species of the monkeys. Right now, those are monkeys are present. Are they going to convert into the human? No, not need, because the Homo sapien is a species, only one. They require, they start evolution, they start adapting towards the environment. And slowly, 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 long period of time, they evolve. Okay, getting my point? Yes or no? Pokemon देखा रहेगा, हाँ राइट, पिकाचू का राइचू बनता है, बट इन दैट केस पिकाचू बनना चाहेगा तो मतलब क्या होगा, इज ट्राइंग टू कंडीशन आ जाती है, सिचुएशन आ जाती है, इन्वायरमेंट आ जाता है, उसके हिसाब से इवोल्यूशन विल बी देयर. ओके, नाउ द टर्म homeostasis. Homeostasis is controlling the inner environment. Okay, so it is a process of maintenance of the constant internal environment. Living things actually maintain complex structure. Our body temperature is what in human beings? 37 plus minus, it can be there, but it has to be maintained inside the body. Whatever the environmental temperature, we are not bothered about that, but that is impacting on the cell, right? In winter, our body internal temperature is quite different. In summer, body internal temperature is trying to maintain at the level, right? That's why पसीना आ जाता है, ये सब चीजें हो जाती है, adjust कर रहे हैं हम लोग, right? So that is a homeostasis, that is the internal environmental process. The term homeostasis was coined by the American philologist Walter Bradford Cannon in 1929. And the last one, metabolism. What is the metabolism? Ultimately, we need a respiration, the process, okay? But via metabolism, we actually generate energy. So it is a sum of total all chemical reaction occurring in our body. All chemical reaction, जो भी body में हो रहे हैं, that is the sum is what? Metabolism. Metabolism has two phases, anabolism and catabolism. Metabolism is combination of the anabolism and catabolism. See, metabolism ultimately need is what? All cellular reaction. If I eat directly the glucose, that's a smaller amount, or we can say the basic unit. And the body, for example, let's eat the starch. Okay, we are eating the starch. Animal is eating the starch. Starch is converted into the glucose. Okay, so we cut down the complex into the simple one. Right now, whatever the requirement is there, we used up as energy, and whatever is not required, we have to save in the form of energy. So that glucose will be converted into glycogen right now. So that is anabolism and catabolism will be performing together. We're going to study in detail. Don't worry about that. So we are talking about the all the characteristics of the living cell. So I hope we understood all the things over there, right? So what we talk about? We talk about the characters of living organism. We talk with the growth, we talk with the respiration, we talk about everything almost, right? Yes or no? So these are the characteristics. I hope you understood that. In the next session, we'll talk about the detailed study. And please stay up tuned with my channel, because I'm going to start with the day 40 40 days course, a crash course for the NEET aspirant. So stay tuned with my channel. You will get that update soon. Thank you. Have a great day.